Alright guys, and welcome to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and I apologise there's been no AFL car chat. This is Monday. Just had round 11 at the weekend of the AFL. So this is chair chat. Chair chat. It's not going to be a hashtag. Not like my hashtag AFL car chat. It's just chair chat, just a general chit chat. As I say, apologies for not loading a car chat today. I've absolutely knackered today, but I had to get away from work early to go and watch the child and Sports Day, which was very interesting stuff indeed. But anyway, just a wee roundup of the matches over the weekend. I watched on the Friday night was North Melbourne. North Melbourne were victorious. Ben Brown was absolutely outstanding. He would have been my man of the match that night. And on the Saturday morning here, which is early Saturday afternoon for you, I watched Collingwood Fremantle Dockers, where the Dockers were victorious, and do you know what? They were absolutely sensational. My man of the match was Fife. I actually did a review of that game also. He was absolutely sensational. And Bradley Hill, another player that stood out for me in the match. A couple of Collingwood players did play well that day, but Fremantle, everybody loves an underdog story, and that's exactly what we got. The Dockers, that's 2-2 now. I think maybe even 3-3. No, I think it's 2-2 for them. Seeing some of the West Coast Eagles versus the Bullies. That was Sunday. The Bullies couldn't hold on. They did stage a little bit of a fight back, but the West Coast Eagles, too strong for them. No underdog success there. They're looking good. I think that's 5-5 for them now, so they're really going strong. Who else? Yeah, I seen the game in Shanghai between St Kilda and Port Adelaide, and that was nothing short of embarrassing for St Kilda. Taking absolutely nothing away from Port Adelaide. They were in sensational form. Some of their kicks were phenomenal. I think the Lions as well there were victorious at the weekend. Carlton, what's going on with Carlton? Really not going well. I seen a thing on Facebook I'm following, I can't remember the page now, but they're like the joke page on Facebook, and some Carlton fan actually believes that they threw the game deliberately missing kicks to get the coach the sack, and they also claim that this has happened in the past with Carlton. Different coaches, they've through different games, missed kicks deliberately, intentionally thrown games to get their manager the road. Now, everybody's laughing at this. I believe it's probably a piss take as well. The fan obviously believes it. However, as much as everybody likes to shoot down a good conspiracy, it has actually happened in soccer before, where Mourinho at Chelsea, famously players had admitted not wanting to win games because they didn't like Mourinho when he was in charge. Whether or not they threw games is an entirely different subject, but they admitted they wanted to lose because they wanted Mourinho sacked. Now, if that's the mindset of some of your players, I'm not saying that's happening at Carlton. It could be happening at Carlton. It's not a good situation to be. I mean, they're in 4 points out of 11 rounds. It's not pretty viewing for Carlton supporters. So hopefully it'll all get sorted out soon. I love to see a competitive league, and that's exactly what we're getting in the AFL. We're getting a really competitive table, although you're starting to see a bit of a breakaway now with the top two teams. Getting to Geelong now. Geelong look frightening. The Cats, they look really good. They played Sydney Swans. It looked tight for the first round, the first quarter, or so, and then they just showed their class, their dominance. Sydney did try and put a little bit a run together in the fourth, I think. And Big Buddy Franklin got a kick, scored a kick. I think somebody else got one. But all in all, Geelong Cats were too strong. So, great weekend again, round 11. I'm looking forward to round 12 already. You've got to understand, guys, how much hours I'm putting into this sport, and I'm not getting paid. The guys in the AFL, I'm probably putting you to shame. I'm racking up about 6 to 8 hours, maybe. I think I worked it out on average. Whether it was highlights of games, live games, general chit-chat between supporters, getting the vibe of what people thought of the results. Honestly, that's why I was exhausted. That's why the AFL car chat never came, I think, this morning. So this is chair chat. It's not a hashtag. Don't worry, I'm not trying to start something new as well. You'll be like, I'm sick looking at this guy. But it's just for the love of the sport. I absolutely love it. I haven't stopped. I think I watched 3 live games at the weekend. I watched 3 live games the other weekend. I've watched endless highlights. I've watched highlights of players. I've watched highlights of different games from the past. I've covered the Carlton Derby, the Carlton Draft Derby, sorry, which is Demolition Derby. That's the Perth Derby, isn't it, in West Coast between the Fremantle Dockers and the West Coast Eagles. Wow. Obviously, the Fremantle Dockers aren't that older club, but they're starting to get better and better now, aren't they? They're consistently improving over time, and who knows, they might win a flag one day. I don't think they've won one yet, have they? But they might win one day. You never know. We've actually seen a win last week there. It went to the last kick of the game. Then they've went and beat Collingwood, who are a huge club in the AFL. They thoroughly deserved it. They were absolutely fired up. They played like inspired warriors that really wanted it. They were so hungry. They put pressure on Collingwood. They never let them out their 50. They just literally battled like warrior poets and got the result. They never needed the last kick after the siren. They did miss it, but they won it anyway. So 2 matches in a row, the Dockers have had a kick after the siren, and one they needed, obviously, last week, but the one at the weekend, they didn't. Another shout out I need to say is with Naughton, I think, of the Bulldogs. He punched somebody at the weekend in the midriff, the solar plexus, winded them, put them down in the West Coast Eagles game. So that was quite good to watch. Everybody knows who follows my channel that I quite like a bit of that stuff. So that was pretty good to see. There's a bit of handbags in some of the games. Nothing really major. No fights. You don't really get that anymore. I've spoke about that a lot with people in the comments section on the channel. I've seen it a lot in the highlights now. There's a lot less of that in the sport, but for good reason. Did somebody leave the elbow in on somebody? One of the games there was an elbow. An intentional elbow. I just can't remember off the top of my head what that was. I should have wrote it down. All in all, it was a fantastic weekend of footy. I never seen much of Gold Coast Suns. I'm not too sure. I can't really remember much of their match, but that is a team I'm going to have to check out. I know that they're not as good as other clubs, and they're not really requested. That's probably one of the reasons why I haven't really watched much of them. But I promise, for any Gold Coast fans, excuse me, that'll watch my channel, I will cover them, because I want to show everyone this isn't. I don't actually follow a particular club yet, so I want to be as impartial as possible and give the most fairest and honest reviews as I can. I do love to see a bit of a giant killing. That's why it was quite good seeing the Dockers beating Collingwood. I have had a bit of banter with Collingwood fans, because Collingwood seem to be the most hated club in the AFL from every other club's supporters. They all seem to kind of gang up a little bit and all share the same jokes about Collingwood supporters, which is good banter all in all. But as I say, I don't have any real major dislike towards them. I did make a comment saying I'm actually starting to get a bit of dislike for them, but it's just part of the banter, isn't it? You love to see a giant killing. You like to see the underdog win, and that's exactly what happened in that match. So that was good to see. They're struggling to get a bit of consistency together though, Collingwood. They really are. They are a top side. Geelong, as I said, I believe they'll probably win the Premiership. I don't know too much about it, but they do. Out of all, that's the last 3 or 4 weeks now of highlights I've watched, etc. This and this ladder so far, and they look hot, as do the West Coast Eagles. There's another one that are standing out for me, who seem to be putting a run of form together. Other teams maybe in there, who knows? You never know. But it's going to make an interesting next couple of weeks to see what way it goes. And stay tuned for my channel as well, where I'm going to be doing loads more reaction videos to different players. Different things from the past, like the 1989 Grand Final between Hawthorn Hawks and the Geelong Cats. Sorry, I just went blank there. So all in all, it's going to be a really exciting week on my channel. do subscribe to this channel. Do subscribe to my other channel as well, which is the Donna World Sports. You won't regret it. There's going to be loads of cool content, and on that channel, that's where I'm going to get super excited about stuff. I'm probably going to put the stuff on there that's a little bit more unhinged, a little bit more rough. The likes of your Tony Plugger Lockets, that's where I should probably be putting guys like him, because he's an absolute legend. That sort of thing anyway. That's what you can expect on the Donna World Sports channel. But for my hashtag AFL Car Chat, that's this channel. It's going to be a constant uploads of AFL Car Chats on this channel. Thanks again for your continued support, everyone, and I hope you continue to enjoy my future uploads. Thanks very much. I am the Donfather. Peace and goodbye.